Kate Erbland. Matthew Modine is a stone-cold weirdo in this, but he's also kind of hot. Shaking my head. That's kind of a backhanded compliment, I think. You'd have to say Loudon Swain is a stone-cold weirdo, and Matthew Modine is kind of hot. I've just rewrote your review. Hey, how you doing? This is Matthew Modine. I'm going to be reading some reviews from my film, Vision Quest, celebrating its 40th anniversary. The first one is from Matt Levine. 4 stars. Matt Levine, you have excellent taste. One of the things I love about Vision Quest is the somewhat arbitrary nature of Loudon's goal. He could easily stay in his weight class and continue being one of his school's best wrestlers, but a new challenge gives him the drive to find focus and meaning in his sometimes dreary life. It's like a low-key philosophical study on the nature of happiness. The joy is in pursuing something, anything, with a single-minded determination. Vision Quest is based on a book by Terry Davis. The screenplay was adapted from that book by Daryl Ponison, who's one of Hollywood's best screenwriters. When we were making the film, he asked me if I had read Catcher in the Rye, and unfortunately I hadn't read the book, and he said, "Oh my God, you got to read the book right now." That journey into Holden Caulfield's psychology gave me a lot of what Matt Levine is writing about in his review about the philosophical study of nature and happiness. All right, here's the next review. The Great Owl, 5 stars. Wow. I love the ramshackle houses that the characters in Vision Quest live in, and I love the lived-in feel of the whole setup. These days, when movie teenagers always seem to live like princes and kings, this movie is a refreshing taste of a tangible reality. That's, I think, a big part of director Harold Becker and our cinematographer Owen Roisman's doing. And in addition to the production design of the film, you'll be shocked maybe to find out that the entirety of Loudon's house is on a soundstage. So everything was art directed. Actually, it wasn't on a soundstage. It was in an abandoned warehouse. The next review is from Christian Ryan. 4 stars. You know that Journey song, Only the Young? Well, it popped up a few times throughout the movie, and every single time it did, I was jumping on the couch doing fist pumps. What a fucking song, man. Honestly, I can't even tell you if this movie was any good, because that fucking song, man, that fucking song makes everything good. Christian, I assure you, the movie is very good, and the song made it better. I actually really like the Madonna ballad that she contributed to the film, Crazy for You, which the film was eventually retitled overseas when it played in Europe and around the world in Asia. The soundtrack of Vision Quest is a million-seller album. You know, it did incredibly well on vinyl, on cassette, and 8-track maybe even. This review is from Ethan. It's a 5-star review. Ethan has excellent taste. Watched this numerous times before wrestling meets in high school. Hours before weigh-ins, our coach would put this on, and we would honestly sit there on the dirty mat and watch it. Every bit as tired, hungry, and horny as Modine is on screen. Well, maybe too much information, Ethan, but I'm glad that I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's an anthem for so many wrestlers, and the film is a great inspiration to all kinds of people, including Dana White, who built his UFC inspired by the work ethic of Loudon Swain. Yeah, I've met a lot of people over the course of my life whose life was changed by Loudon Swain and Vision Quest. The next review is from Tom. 4 stars. The beats are familiar, but the movie has its own unique vibe, and part of that vibe is its setting. Seems like these movies are always set in suburban Chicago or Southern California. Here's one that isn't. Vision Quest makes me irrationally romantic about the city of Spokane, which is insane because I've been to Spokane and therefore should know better. You're being too hard on Spokane, Tom. The people are kind. The city is quiet. I personally had an unbelievable time during the 4 months or so that we spent there making the film. The next review is from a person named Hell Asgai. Halazagai 315. 4 stars. Fantastic. This came out in the middle of my sophomore year in high school. I didn't see it in the theaters, but sure enough, it was a VHS rental, an HBO staple as well. Since I hadn't seen it in a while, there were a few scenes that I had forgotten about. And there is one standout scene, an inspirational message to Modine's character called the 6 minutes speech, that some may find cliched, but it is told with emotion, and I got teared up from it. It's one of the greatest speeches about sport and humanity that I've ever seen on film, and it's delivered by a wonderful actor named J.C. Quinn, who's no longer with us.
It ain't the 6 minutes. It's what happens in that 6 minutes.
And in that 6 minutes is where people's lives can be transformed. And it is absolutely the case in Loudon's life, is that if he would have not returned to the school and participated in the wrestling match, his life would have gone a different direction, and all the discipline and the things that he believed in could have been lost. But this man saves his life in a way and gets him to go back to the high school and wrestle in the match and become the movie that we all love.